Welcome or welcome back, beautiful souls, to the channel. I'm Shika, your conscious mentor, and today I'm going to be going over what you need to know about this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022 in Taurus. And in this full moon, it will affect us 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. In this video, I'm going to be pulling out some cards and intuitively channeling what you need to know and how will this lunar eclipse affect you. So before we get into the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells as I do these energy updates every single month for you beautiful souls, as well as sharing more about plant medicine, healing, shadow work, and tapping into your power as a healer, space holder, and conscious being of this new earth. And I am so excited to do this journey with you guys. I will be posting a card reading and an energy healing meditation for you as well to really support you through this eclipse season. One other thing I want to share with you guys is I do have an ancestral retreat that is coming up in December. It is my last retreat, and I will say that this eclipse season is all about reprogramming a lot of our lineage patterns. So if you feel called to go deep into medicine work, sitting with me in ceremony, as well as breath work, ancestral shadow work, and so much more, message me on Instagram for more information on the ancestral retreat. And I also have one spot available for my November one-on-one 6-month container called the Rebirth Program. With that said, let's get into this video. There's so much that I want to cover and I do not want to waste any time at all. Okay, so I am actually recording this video as I will be in Costa Rica while you guys are watching this. And there's so much that is coming up for this eclipse season. If you haven't seen my solar eclipse energy healing and card reading, I would suggest you going and watching it because it literally is that other puzzle piece that is going to connect with what to expect for this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022. Any Taurus is down there, let me know with a Taurus emoji down below, and let us start your just tapping into the energy, tapping into the messages. So during this Taurus lunar eclipse that's happening on November 8th, 2022, this Taurus is going to really tune us to you wanting to turn back because things are getting a little too hard. Eclipse season is really derooting so much. And if you guys haven't seen my TikTok and my Instagram post that I talked about this, in a little short snippet, we're talking about father wounds, father karmic, mother wounds. We're talking about feeling more tired and sleepy, inner child healing of worthiness, opening our voice, tapping into our 3.0 version of ourselves. Like, that's just a snippet of what's going on. So there's a lot being derooted from our shadow. And in this time, it's almost like that feeling. The best way of explaining it is if you're running a marathon and you have 15 minutes left to run this marathon. And even though you've been running and you know you're at the end, there's a part of you that starts that self-limiting belief talk. It's, you know, my feet are hurting me. I'm really tired. I'm exhausted. I can't see the finishing line. Like, I'm the last one in. All these thoughts that come in. Then during this lunar eclipse, it's really asking you to be attuned to your mental diet, because right now you're even more vulnerable, more sensitive. When we're in transition, when we're in transformation, especially with the Scorpio and Taurus energy, we are more sensitive, meaning that the littlest things such as anger or emotion that can come up, and it doesn't even have to be what seems to be a big situation, can be even more amplified during this lunar eclipse season because we are so vulnerable. We are derooting. We are understanding who we are. That really is what this November 8th, 2022 Taurus full moon is all about. It's we're understanding who are we becoming. And with that means that there is a lot of cleaning of weeds in our inner garden. And we're, again, at that breaking point. And I want to just share with you guys, and I love to see this when I serve Campbell medicine. When I'm in ceremony and I do a ceremony, especially for my retreats, I always see that people get these days all the time. There are these two moments you have. The moment where you want to leave and you don't want to continue the retreat because you're seeing how much you're being derooted and you don't even feel like, who are you? And two, the moment where you're just like, I'm so tired. And then that body is like that 15 minutes before the end of that marathon. And you think of everything to make yourself feel like you can't make it, but you just made how many hours running this marathon? What makes you think 15 minutes is going to push you back? So what's happening or 15 minutes is like going to be such a big thing. So what's happening with this lunar eclipse is it's calling us to don't turn back. You are at a point where you're about to make it with this big transformation. You're going to get that clarity, whether that is reshifting the structure of your business, whether that is restructuring the way you communicate, the way you share love, the way you integrate all of that healing you've been doing into your relationships. What Spirit is asking you for this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022 is, are you committed enough to keep going? And the answer is yes, you are. Your spirit and your soul is so ready. And I feel like the ancestral cards are calling me to see what is here for you. So just like, what about turning back do we need to know? The card that came up, again, this card comes in broken arrow. Embrace the energy of peace. So asking yourself in this time, how can you bring your mind to a peaceful state? How can you allow yourself to breathe? And really, again, it's all about mind diet. Okay, so here is just asking you, instead of focusing on what you're shedding and how much you feel like you're learning who you are and where this unknown is bringing you, why don't you allow yourself to just take some deep breaths, do it here with me, and allow ourselves to sit there and just receive, to be in that space of peace. When we can find peace in anger, in grief, in pain, in happiness, in sadness, in pleasure, in every emotion that humans are meant to experience, this Taurus full moon is going to bring us to find that inner peace if we choose to. I always say this because, again, it's your journey, not mine. Let go of the need to defend yourself and prepare for the offer of peace. You are safe. So what's coming up with this card is saying, when in your time did you feel like you had to protect yourself from something, that the worst would happen? And what this means is, again, when we're in transition, a lot is being like pulled apart. It's almost like we're seeing the frame of the house, but we're not seeing what is being created just yet. And there's a little bit of a, oh my gosh, what's happening? But in doing that, how can you still be in peace and bring yourself to that imagination of what is being brought into manifestation after this eclipse season, right? We're setting the stones for a new foundation, for something that is going to align with us, and we don't even know what that is. Just as an arrow card symbolizes defense and protection, the broken arrow card symbolizes peace. In the Native American traditions, a broken arrow would mean the tribes are no longer fighting. It's almost like a surrender. And that's what's happening with this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022 in Taurus. We're surrendering something in our life. And we're noticing when we can surrender, we're going to make it at the end of the finish line of that marathon. So ask yourself, what are you working up a lot about in your mind? Allowing yourself to bring meditation, bringing visualization of what can happen after this transformation, after this hard time, because we got this. And this powerful symbol of harmony, sincerity, and community. So calling in our community for support in this time. You know, and this is why I'm so avid about doing retreats and sharing with you guys to come into the space. Like I mentioned, I have this program that I'm announcing in November for the wounded healer. If you haven't added yourself to the email list, please do down below. You will thank me later because this is talking about exactly that. When we know we want to like make the thing and we figured out our gifts and we figured out what we want to do and we figured out what the next step is, what part of us doesn't make that leap? You've done all this work up to this point. Why are you giving up now in whatever area you are? Remember that our solar eclipse was about the balance of worthiness and the balance of commitment and truth. And here it's all about taking execution, preparing for the execution to commit to the responsibility of the wisdom. And as I said, this card is coming up. That's why I'm feeling this. And I got this card last time I did the live with you guys, sharing some deep, raw, just essence of what's going on for me, but also in the eclipse for the collective. Grow within your current situation. So it's like knowing that right now, and I was talking about this with a lot of space holders, in this spiritual community that's happening, there is a lot of amazing things that are happening, but there's also the other side of that double-edged sword, which is knowing the responsibility and the energetic responsibility we have as humans, as partners, as mothers, as fathers, as daughters, as sisters, as beings, and as space holders. And what's happening here is you are kind of getting some deep revelation that your ancestors are calling you to devote yourself a little bit more to this point of breaking point. And knowing that this is the most important time. When these moments happen, call in my benevolent ancestors. They're going to support you through this time to hold you in energetic responsibility. And this brings me to the second thing you need to know about the lunar eclipse on November 8th in Taurus. And this is about learning to fill your cup. So as we open and we have that energetic self-responsibility, Taurus is all about, they love nice things. They love being taken care of. If anyone has a Taurus partner, you really know what love is, because they are one of the most loving signs out there and the most like romantic signs out there. And one of the things I will share is that when they say filling your cup, the shadow work prompt that comes up for this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022 is what parts of your life is to respect, you know, other people rather than yourself. So, you know, there's a lot of this like idea of self-respect of others, of authority. That's what came up. So who in authority, or who do you see as a little younger version of yourself? Or just growing up, do you see someone that is higher than you, that is on a pedestal, that has more wisdom than you, that you have to respect a certain way? You know, there is that idea of like respecting elders, but you know, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean giving everything above your means for that person to be pleased? That is a misconception. So it's like there's something in your life in the collective that's going to be showed 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after in this lunar eclipse in Taurus energy on November 8th, that there is someone that you're putting on a higher pedestal than yourself, and you're respecting that person more than you. And what's going to happen is this person, or this person from the past, this memory is going to come up of how they disrespected you. And you're going to feel this energy, this rawness, this divine feminine energy that the Scorpio energy around this time is also helping you feel. And I want you to say, okay, so now that you know how you felt disrespected, how you felt not seen, how you felt unloved, how you felt unworthy, how you felt not taken care of. And this is why I'm saying this is so deep. I want to flip that script and say, how do you do that for you? How do you respect yourself? How do you honor your boundaries? How do you create routine and rituals for you? You're doing more than anything for everyone else, and you've made that a choice to be your responsibility. But the biggest responsibility you really need is the authority of yourself, is tapping into who you are. So here it's saying, who are for authority figures? This is the channel message I received when tuning into this. Equals is not true. There is no authority, just a soul. When we are born into a lineage with our parents, right? And our parents are given, we are taught that they are higher than us. We are taught that we need to impress them, that we need to go to the school and get that master's degree and that PhD, or we need to date a person that is going to be better than the father or the mother or the person that raised us. There is a standard that we have created based on what we weren't provided. And in doing that, we create authority. We create that idea, that need as a pedestal, and we spend all our life filling that void. When the real thing to know about this is that that person is just another soul, another mirror of ourselves. And when we bring them back to our level, we notice that, yeah, they are your parents. Yes, you should respect them, but we're not respecting them because you're your parents. You're respecting them because they're their soul, because they are also you. They are part of you. We are all interconnected into this conscious space, right? Remember that. So this Taurus full moon is like, take care of yourself, because when you can do that, you can take care of your environment. You can take care of your relationships. You can take care from your heart, because you're so taken care of. You see the abundance of love that you have in your heart. And I see this happening during this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022. There's going to be a big heart release that's happening in the collective. There's going to be a part of you that's been longing for that authority, for that, excuse me, that person saying, hey, like, I needed you. Good job, you know, good job, little one, good, like whatever that sound is from a parent or someone who's an authority. That's what I hear when I tune into that. And you're going to notice, wait, I've been waiting all my life for a good job, but all I needed was the good job for me. All I needed was the completion, the recognition from myself. So this is a really deep one that's happening. And again, this is being pulled under the rug for some of us. And others of us, we've seen this coming and we're ready. We're just like, take it. Like, universe, take that. We're done with that. We're not taking it anymore. So this is why this card, Broken Arrow, is so important. It's like you're surrendering to knowing that you have to fill someone else's cup, and that there is this competition, collaboration over competition. And we're seeing this a lot in community and the online world. We're seeing this a lot with just like the idea of money, like this person has nicer things than I do. They're just another soul that decides to prioritize something else. Doesn't mean it's better than you or less than you, whatever, but what is something to consider is like, what parts of your priorities, what parts of your rituals align for you. The third thing you need to know about this lunar eclipse that's happening on November 8th, 2022 in Taurus is that who are you becoming? It's starting to be more clear. And if there's anything I can share with you guys, especially if you are a Scorpio and a Taurus, you are figuring out who you are. And sometimes that's like, oh, finally, you know, like you are figuring out who you are. And it's scary because maybe this part of you isn't something that you've wanted people to see. And I want to see what card is coming up for Wisdom of Oracle, what they need to know of who they're becoming. And the card that came up is Change in the Wind. So we have the horse. I just want to share that the horse is one of the most healing, most majestic, most magical. And that's the beautiful thing about this lunar eclipse. Even though there's a lot of things being rebuilt, structures and different things that we're letting go and we're shedding, like the snake totem is really big in this lunar eclipse time. We're also giving so much love and so much like freedom. That's the word that comes up, freedom. Like a part of your soul is being free during this lunar eclipse. So the change in the wind, there's a way of you looking at life that you've never seen it before in this human experience. There's a remembering of yourself. And we have 12 here, which one is new beginnings and taking action. To me, that seems like 12 is taking action into the new soul and the new spirit that you are and allowing others to see you without feeling the need to, again, fill other people's cups and feel other people's perspectives of you. You are now finally being taken care of, and Tauruses need this. So a sense of unseen change has been initiated. Preparation of the storm, awareness of plans are not in the firm ground, feeling a shift of uncertainty in the direction of the winds. So again, until the end of this eclipse season, I would say even coming up to end of November, going into December, all of us are expected to see a new framework of our life. And that just means that we're going to shed some relationships. But in that, there's going to be maybe one person that's going to come in at that time when you're probably at the space of transition. And they're going to be a big point to link you to your new timeline. Your new timeline. It might be an intimate relationship, might be just a friendship, it might be a stranger, it might be someone that you would be like, I feel like this person's probably someone that you didn't think, it just comes out of nowhere. It's like when you're not looking for something, it's there. And it feels really good at this time for you. It's human nature to yearn for certainty and resist change, which we're all kind of going through. To want the world to remain consistent like a zebra's stripes. Yet nothing in the human experience is black and white, nor will anything remain static. The one thing guaranteed is the change, and now is the time to transform and outer a condition of temporarily moving out and sinking into the desires of expectations. Stay the course and remember that even storms serve a clear air, scattered seeds, and nourish the soil. So when we think about a storm, yes, it's chaotic, yes, it's destructive. But in doing that, it causes us to reframe because everything is everywhere. We can't put the old structures that we once had. So going back to that, you know, first initial question I asked you is like, who are you? And what parts of yourself are calling for more respect, being more seen, when we say respect is witnessing and being seen and being held. Respect is honoring the parts of you, even the parts of you that you don't understand, the parts that are uncertain, the parts of you that are being rebirthed, the parts of you that you don't know, and how can you hold that and hold space for that version of yourself. Life is about getting interesting. Anticipate the curiosity as you wonder for what's coming to shifting winds. The unknown are the magic lies. So I talked a little bit about this, about manifestation on my TikTok and online about the lunar eclipse. But one thing I will share is we're building the blocks for a clean space of manifestation. So during this lunar eclipse, your biggest thing right now is you're repatterning your mind to what parts of you think, and you've separated certain types of people, you've categorized perspectives and versions of yourself in the outside of world. That's all going to crumble, and we're going to see that coming into a collective, like seeing that as a joint and seeing that there's not spiritual and non-spiritual. There's not people that have negative, bad energy and people who have good energy. It's just people who are hurt and people who have good energy. But what makes it more aligned for us as spiritual conscious beings is creating boundaries in that. And this brings me to the next point that's coming up is the masculine. There is such a need for the masculine to step in. And if you're watching this video, I'm calling you out in this. It's more and more as I talk to community, as I talk to space holders, and I feel this heat, like this heat that's coming up. And what I feel is like the masculine need to be held in healing spaces. So I encourage, and I'm going to extend that invitation even deeper for you to step up. You know, masculine light workers, masculine people who want to just like hold space and heal, masculine that want a space to be held. Come to my retreats. I want to hold you. I want to see you in your healing. You're going to help your relationships and all those before and after. You know, we want to hold you. We want to support you. We want to have you feel safe and loved. And the same thing with, you know, the holding space. More men need that holding space. More masculine souls need that holding space. And if we're talking about emotional vulnerability and the dark feminine, everything, what's going to help us get out of that chaos is the energetic shift of when we wait for that drop for us to start seeding those seeds that are all over and scattered into the lands after the chaos has occurred. So again, tapping into who you've become, because we're clearing up a lot at this time. Be patient with yourself. It's not a time to force things to be done. It's a time to allow things to, and I've been saying this the past couple months, but I'm going to say it again. It's the time to allow things to just unfold, allow things to go as they're supposed to be. The fourth thing you need to know about this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022, which will affect us 3 days before the day of and 3 days after in Taurus, is that what is unstable in our life finds stability, not scarcity. So this is something that came up really deeply, and I just want to like share it because this is going to really like our mind. So what is unstable in your life? I want you to think of the one unstable thing as you're watching this video. And what's coming up for me is finance and limbo in a relationship. Okay, those are the two things that are coming up for the collective. You know what you know. I'll leave it there. But all this to say is the unstable part is there. And you're thinking about this a lot. It's creating a lot of your mental energy, also your third eye energy. When we look at stability, what we focus that we're missing is what creates it to be bigger. So if we think that we don't have much money, universe is going to say, okay, we'll just keep taking the money and not giving you much. If we think that our relationship, we don't know where it's going, then spirit's going to keep creating fog and clouds in our relationship and not direct communication. So one of the biggest things I call on you to do during this lunar eclipse in Taurus is don't be afraid to ask for what you need to be taken care of. This means in your relationship. This means in your work relationships. And relationships is so highlighted here. As I look into and I tap in and I just saw like the eagle energy come by the camera. And what that's coming up for is like shift your perspective as to not blaming everything else on what happened and what was, and rather be with the chaos and say, okay, what do I want to create from this space? How do I want to be stable through this? I'm here. The only way is up now. The only way is up. And that can be one of the most enlightening points and the most life-changing points for us to step into our purposes and to step into an aligned environment, an aligned way of our life. So scarcity is really just our soul saying that we feel unsafe, or we feel not stable, we feel unsure about something. And something that wasn't unstable in the first place starts to crumble, having the tower moment, then that's just a sign for us saying, okay, like maybe this isn't working and we need to start creating new structure for it. So again, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. And I want to leave you with this prompt. If you didn't have to worry about being provided something, what would you ask for? And then I also want you to ask your younger self and do a little practice for 5 minutes. And I want you to drop into, when did your younger self felt guilty or was punished for being asked for something? When did a part of you was being punished for being asked to do something, right? So scarcity is all root chakra. We're really resetting that space. Taurus needs that earth energy to kind of go and drop in even deeper. So the earth here is just finding the groundingness. It's grounding ourselves in the time of huge transformation of a version of ourselves that we've never met in this earth life before. Exciting. The fifth thing you need to know about this lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022 is what chakra in my body is asking me for respect. So as you guys know, every chakra, we have 7 chakras, and every single one of them breaks down into many things. So for example, the sacral is for abundance, creativity, fertility, creative, light force energy. So what you can do and what is very helpful, and again, I'm going to be posting an energy update for the card reading, that I'll go deeper into this. But I'm also going to post a meditation for you guys and healing. And this meditation will drop you into this practice. But what you can do is like tuning into, okay, where in that part of my body do I feel discomfort? And a lot of you are going to feel it here in the heart. Like I said, there's a big purge happening in the heart, this eclipse, for a lot of people. Grief, especially from the masculine, especially from fathers. That's coming up so deeply. Like I mentioned in the other video, a lot of you have had a father or grandfather or father figure who passed away or was sick or is receiving some karma right now in the next year. And they're finally kind of coming around and sitting with, and that's why I'm saying masculine, come into the space and heal. Everyone, we all need to heal together. Here is just asking you, like, what part of your body is asking for respect from you? And when I mean respect, listen to the body. What is it looking for? How does it need to be taken care of? What part of that body is looking for validation from another person, respect from an authority figure? Going back to that mentioned channel message I said, is that there is no authority. It is just a soul, and a soul that is equal to our being. You know, this titles, whether you're a title of a teacher, a healer, a YouTuber, a cashier, it means absolutely nothing. We're just souls experiencing this life. And when we get attached to that, the ego gets a little shaky. It's like, what do you mean? Who am I? Right? And then that who am I is the most perfect moment, because then we're like, oh, we can figure out what that is. My soul doesn't have to fight what it was looking for this whole time, what it was seeking for, which is right here. So tuning into that, and again, really find out through your path, through your experience, who were these authority figures that made a huge impact of your life, of who you needed to be. And we're erasing and we're resetting that, and we're dissolving that, and we're resetting to who do you need to be for them, to who do you need to be for yourself. The last thing you need to know about this Taurus full moon, lunar eclipse on November 8th, 2022, is Taurus calls us to put our needs first and foremost. Everything from our well-being to our food that we eat, to our love, our inner love, how to feel loved, and make sure that we are getting the needs and communicating those needs to all of the people, even the people we think that won't understand us, in a non-violent communication way. And what I would suggest you doing is practicing the non-violent communication practice. There's a book on this where we really tune into our feeling and what we've observed, but then connect that with our needs. What are your needs? During this lunar eclipse, what is your body and your spirit and your soul asking you for needs? Like, what is it wanting? And in doing that, we're respecting our highest timeline. We're respecting our spirit. We're respecting our soul. We're respecting our next chapter of our life. And that is such a beautiful thing to witness. So those are the things that came up for this specific lunar eclipse. I'm going to end this video with some plants I suggest you working with. The first is an OG. It is sage. Sage is amazing for connecting with the unseen world while clearing and cleansing space. During this Taurus, full moon in lunar eclipse, it's really calling us to clear and cleanse our home, clear and cleanse our energy, because we're shedding so much. You want to make sure that you're clearing and cleansing that. So whether that is putting it on your altar, cleansing the space, opening the windows. I have a whole video on how to cleanse your space properly if you want to check that out. But again, clearing, cleansing, that's going to be so important for you. The other plant that is coming up is actually a mixture of plants, but I'm going to say blue lotus. So blue lotus is a beautiful dream, lucid dream supporter. And during this time, as we're finding ourselves, our soul is kind of doing some dream work where when we're sleeping, we're just taking a little quick trip to source sometimes, getting telepathic messages, connecting with our starseed family, and so much more. So with that means that this beautiful blue lotus can be very supportive. You can find amazing leaves. One of my favorite companies to buy some medicine is Amina. And I have some exciting things that I'm going to be sharing with you guys in the future about medicine. But for now, I will share that Amina is a really beautiful company that you can use. The last thing that I would suggest as far as medicines and how to be supported is really just connecting with cedar. Cedar is amazing for grief. Cedar is also amazing to use topically as a balm, and you like a balm with salve, and you can put it on your chest. You can also have it in an essential oil and smell it. But this is going to really help you with the shedding and the grieving of your old self. So then you can have more space to receive the new self that you want and the new version of yourself. The last one I'm going to throw in, this is actually the last one because it's coming in, is rose. Rose is connecting us with the nurturing, the motherly, just holding the medicine of like being held, connecting with the feminine, connecting with our emotions, and knowing that we're taken care of. So whether you want to have that in a form of a tea blend, you can also do this in a yoni steam. You can do this with an essential oil, and as an alternative is jasmine. It has similar properties as well. But I will say that if you have something that has like a little bit of rose, even if you do rose with the cedar salve balm and use it as a massage, this is for your chest, is going to open up your heart a lot, allowing you to create space to grieve that part of you, but also celebrate. When we talk about funerals and death, we always say about grieving, but really what it is, it's a celebration of life. You know, death is a celebration of a new thing, a new beginning that's happening. And we focus so much on the morbid side, but with that, it's celebrating. It's celebrating that, wow, this part of me has brought me here. Everything that has happened up to this point was supposed to happen. And what better way to celebrate that than to take care of myself during this Taurus full moon and bring respect for that part of me, bring the respect for that shadow of me, to close that chapter and step into a new version of myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed those plants. Let me know what resonated with you as I shared the plants. I will be posting a card reading and an energy meditation for you guys to help you with your ritual. And I'm sitting on possibly doing a live moon ritual again. So if you are interested in that, please put down below a moon emoji, and then I will share by the next video if I feel called to do that. And I'm really excited. It's going to be amazing to do that with you guys. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, put notification bells so you don't miss a video. I do these videos every single month, and I also do weekly videos on healing, medicine work, and all the things. If you're interested in sitting in retreat, message me on Instagram for more information, as I have an ancestral retreat, and we'll have a few more coming up too. And add yourself to the email list, because I have a special program for all the wounded healers out there, all those wanting to hold space, learn how to hold space. And I think this is actually one of the best programs I've ever created. So I really am excited to announce this with you guys. And I have one spot for my one-on-ones before the year ends, so you can message me and DM me as soon as you can, because it will start in November via Instagram. I'm sending you so much love on this lunar eclipse in Taurus this November, and I hope you enjoy it. I love you all so much. Bye.